We are. I'm even going to skip the music. There we go. We are live. It says we are live on my end. So David, hello. And David, please confirm we are alive, because I was just sharing behind the scenes. Last time I was here 2 weeks ago with Carmen, you were here and you had made a comment, and then all of a sudden Restream turned us off. So please confirm that you're hearing us and that we are live, because I'm going to worry. Because it says we're live, but like I said, last time Carmen and I talked for 40 minutes, and we are redoing the live. So anyway, thank you, everybody. Hopefully we are live. I need to get confirmation. So Charlotte or Karen, text somebody and have them confirm we are live. Okay. I need a backup.
Yeah, I'll put the little back up there just so I can see it and make sure.
Yeah, make sure we stay live, because man, the universe shut the two ladies up real fast last time.
Yeah. I've done that twice recording. I do these podcasts and they weren't live, but I was recording somebody. It was possibly the most painful recording I've ever done. It was just really tough. And we get done, I shake his hand, thank you, and I go back and it had shut off, and I'm like, I'm not re-recording. We're done. It's good.
So full transparency, I'm working with a gentleman in Europe, and he is helping me with some of my Instagram videos. And so I am not exaggerating, 12 videos. And every time I send it to him, he rejects them because he doesn't like my lighting, or he doesn't like so I just fixed my lighting. He doesn't like my lighting. He doesn't like my background. He doesn't like what I'm wearing. And I'm like, I'm done working with you. I'm done. Because try working with a perfectionist when you're the exact opposite. Right? It's like, I can't handle this perfectionism thing, because I don't have a single video out. Only I've done 12 of them that, anyway.
Yep, that could work.
Enough on me. Hey, Rachel. So backing this up just for 30 seconds, anybody new to watching us go live, please make a comment. Let us know where you are. State where you're from if you want to, or what you do. If you want to be on a fly in the wall, then don't comment. Then we don't know you're here. But we're glad that you're here. And so today, once a month, Karen Henson, broker, and I'll let her introduce herself, and Charlotte Harrell, lender, manager, all kinds of phenomenal hats. Yeah. So Karen, you first introduce yourself, and then Charlotte, and then we'll get into what we want to talk about today.
Hi, I'm Karen Henson, and I'm the broker and owner of Rock and Associates Real Estate Services. We're in California and Idaho doing resale real estate as well as property management. So welcome to the show.
Yay. All right, Miss Charlotte.
All right.
I know you do something.
Just a few things, depending on the day. Hey there, my name is Charlotte Harrell. I'm a market leader here at Atlantic Bay Mortgage, and that just means that I lead an amazing group of mortgage loan officers in Kentucky, Indiana, and North Georgia, Tennessee area, like Chattanooga and up. But yeah, I just have an amazing team of mortgage loan officers that do an amazing job, and it's my job just to help them out and support them.
Yep. And you also kind of have a hat about recruiting, because I know Karen kind of has a hat about recruiting, right?
Absolutely. We're always looking for good talent, people that love the core of what we are, which is we have fun, we grow, and we love to support each other. We are a team. So we're looking for those people.
There you go. Yeah. Who would be your ideal client or agent, Miss Karen?
My ideal agent would fit well into our culture, and same thing. We call ourselves a team, although the agents are all individual, but we're a team in terms of supporting each other and collaboration. And that is more important in my mind than the amount of production that an agent is coming in with, because I can help them grow their production. So for me, it's about the right fit and getting somebody that has their head on their shoulders and understands that, this is a great business to help provide a good lifestyle, but it's the lifestyle that we're all looking for.
That's awesome. So being in alignment with your mission, right? I'm going to bottom line it to one sentence. You want an agent that's going to be in alignment with your mission, because not everybody's going to be a good fit.
Correct.
Yeah. So David says he only hears us and doesn't see us. Do you have video on your end?
On Facebook, it does. So that might be a LinkedIn issue.
Okay. It shows I'm connected, David, to LinkedIn. maybe turn it off and come back in. But anybody else that's signing in from LinkedIn, I want to know if that's all you do is hear us and not see us. That would be awesome. Okay, so I know we've talked about this topic a lot, and I know both of you know where I'm going with NAR, and that, you know, the 17th really is just around the corner, and a lot of agents and brokers have required the change since August 1st, but the 17th is the drop dead date. Anything coming up on your end different than what we've talked about? Anything popping up now that really truthfully, I think some people didn't think it was really going to happen. Like somebody was going to intervene and say, never mind, April Fools, right?
Mhm.
But that's not going to happen. So, yeah.
I would agree. I think that the biggest difference that I'm seeing is the reality check. People were like ignoring it, and now everywhere I go, that's the question. Like, what's going on? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? I'm like, where have you been? But I think it's just now that it's actually here, I think it's the reality check. People are actually starting to think about it and realize that there's probably going to be some change. They might even be getting asked about it a little bit more.
Yeah. How about you, Karen? What are you saying? And then I'll share mine. Yeah.
So I think that there was some great education out about the forms, and that seemed rather simple for myself and my agents to go through. But the complexity of actually having it out in the marketplace and working with the clients and working with other agents who maybe have not had as much education on it as they have. And so, you know, what responsibility do we have there? I think that part of it is what's all really surfacing this week, and bringing about questions that haven't come about, not just with my team, but also in forums that I'm in. So I think the simplicity of educating us on how to use the forms sort of whitewashed what was really going to be happening when it hit the market.
Yeah. So coincidentally, and I don't believe in coincidence, so the universe has me coaching a lot yesterday and today because I was on a semi-vacation last week. So I'm making up coach calls from last week to this week. So I have a lot of calls this week. And I would say 50% of my clients are spot on with being ready. So proud that they're spot on with being ready. And then I have a few that are like, pardon my language. So if there's kids in the background, cover their ears. It's like, holy shit, it's here. Right? And I thought this buyer wouldn't have a problem signing 2.5% on this form, but they're having a problem signing it, right? And right. And so I asked one of my clients, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, where's your confidence and your clarity and your confidence and your courage on articulating your value and getting the form side? And it was like a 2. And it was like, oh, I'm your coach and it's a 2. You know, it's like, we need to step it up, you know, because it's, here's an example. So a lot of my coaching clients are doing the 12-week year, and a lot of them thought it was going to be super easy, and it is not easy. The 12-week year is not easy. There's no way on a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 9, how hard it is to do, right? And so when the reality came in to actually do it, they're like, oh my gosh, Tanya, it's a lot harder. You were right. I thought this would be so easy. It's not so easy.
No. Not if you're actually doing it, right?
Make them real fast.
No, that's
Yeah.
I think that getting in there, and when they start seeing, in my market, we just got our forms, and each area is in Kentucky, each area has different forms. So even though Warren County and Glasgow are 30 minutes away, they both have different forms, and they read different. The state form is 4 pages for the buyer's agency. Some of these people are coming up with the 1-pager to make it a little bit easier. But the bottom line is they're all struggling with understanding them because they haven't had a lot of time. I think in Kentucky, they got these forms like 3 weeks ago. So it really wasn't a lot of time for them to really get their head around it. So I think it's going to be a trial by fire a little bit, which in all reality, somebody said, we didn't have enough time with this. I'm like, in all reality, were you going to look at it and do anything with it right before it happened? I mean, the reality is most of us, there are some that are major planners, but most of us creative cats who are in sales are too busy getting our business done to really go look at forms. So it sucks that it is so slow to get stuff to us, but I don't know that it would have made that much of a difference for the majority of us.
No, and we could be prepared on what we're going to say. We knew what we had to say. We didn't have the exact forms and how it's the verbiage, but we knew we were going to be asking the buyers to be signing forms and potentially paying for our fee. That's not something that happened last minute.
No, I agree with everything that both of you just said. And I actually think the part that might be the most difficult is not the right word. The part that most of us may be unprepared for is, again, coming up against a different agency's perspective on how to handle it, right? So now we're going to have two agents that have been taught different things or have different interpretations, and we're going to have to figure all of that out. To me, that's the biggest hurdle. And in some cases, and unfortunately probably a lot of cases, we'll be coming up against other agents who just simply have kind of skipped being educated on it. And so it's going to be really important for every agent to be super solid on what they know about this and how they feel about the practice for when they come up against that.
Yes, and why that buyer sitting across the table really needs to hire them. Because if they can't answer the question, then I'm sorry, they need to go find another realtor that can.
Yes.
And I can't express enough. There's so much division with agents, especially. I feel as a lender looking in, I hear both sides, and often there is this real division between agents. It's really this us against them. And with these changes, you got to work together. So you've got to let I know more than you, even if you do know more than them, you got to let that shed just a little bit, just so that we don't have this. That's going to make it so much worse. Like, my advice would be massage each other, right?
Right. Well, okay. Well,
you're like, bring them along.
Well, you both know some of my coaching style, right? It is play nice in the sandbox. We learned this in kindergarten. We gotta play nice in the sandbox. We gotta cooperate. We gotta hold hands when we go to the lunchroom, right? It goes all the way back to kindergarten, people.
Yep. And there's so much value when you do play nice with another agent who does either have a different perspective or has maybe a little bit of learning to do. It changes the projection of the entire transaction when you show grace with them.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I'm not saying in the past when I was a top producing agent that if I knew it was a brand new agent and I'm negotiating repairs that I didn't have the upper hand. Sure. But doesn't mean I was rude or disrespectful, but did I have the upper hand and could negotiate probably circles around that person? Yeah, but that's how they're going to learn. I didn't have to help them learn how to negotiate during this transaction, but I was respectful. I played nice, and doesn't mean I'm not competitive though.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So very, very cool. So there's a question that two of my clients asked me today. And I said, I hope you're going to listen to the live because I'm going to put you guys on the spot because I didn't know the answer. And it's not my job to know the answer as it is for anybody, right? We got to go find the answer. Somebody asked me today, what happens when I go away for a week and I get another agent showing my buyers around? Or do they have to sign a new form that's their name versus I don't want to say my client's name, so I'm going to make it up. This is not a real client. And let's say it's Eduardo leaves for a week and a client wants to see two homes, right? Whoever is showing the home to Eduardo's client needs to get a form for them, but when he comes back, does he have to get another one?
So in the states that I represent, that would be a no, because when you read the contract, the quote agent is actually the office.
Okay.
Right. And it's the office that's actually getting paid.
Right.
Commission.
Okay.
So I don't know though for other states.
Yes.
I believe that most of the states that I'm in, it says the same. It's the office, and that's that whole dual agency conundrum.
Right.
Karen, do you have dual agency in the states that you work in?
We do. Yep.
It's the conundrum of the office is really representing. So, yeah, absolutely.
But that was a super good question. And here's, I think, as you were explaining it, I was thinking to myself, I hope that they check with their broker, and I hope that it makes sense to them when they get the answer. And if not, keep kind of questioning and digging, because if you think about it, you're having a different agent sign a buyer rep agreement with your client, and that
Yeah.
I think I'd
Yes.
cancel the patient.
Yeah. Very cool. Okay, so I don't want to spend the whole time on this, but if anybody listening, you have any questions or comments or disagree or agree, please, all comments are welcome. Charlotte, what do you see as being a positive? Say it's 6 months from now. What makes you smile? And I know the answer, but I know there's a lot of listeners who won't know the answer, because you and I have talked about this before. But what do you see as being the positive? And you froze, Charlotte, again. So I'm going to go over to Karen and we'll come back to Charlotte. What do you see 6 months from now being the positive with all this, Karen?
I think it's going to increase the level of professionalism in our industry, and I really like that. I welcome new people in the industry. I would love to see everybody here succeed. Unfortunately, we have a lot of people that get in that don't really have the intention of working it as a career and as a professional. And I think this is really going to increase the need for professionalism. The other thing that I really like about it is that it is just throwing one more piece of negotiation into the contract now, right? So we used to only negotiate that between the listing agent and the seller, and that was it. And then the rest, after that, it just was sort of what it was, right? And now it is one more piece of negotiation, which allows it to sway with the market. So it will look very different when it's a buyer's market versus when it's a seller's market. And that was not the case previously.
I agree. And there is light to the end of the tunnel, because there are a lot of nuances that we don't know. Hold on, let me get Charlotte back in.
Okay.
There we go. There are going to be nuances like the, referral fees and things that we may not totally understand. Mm-hmm. However, 6 months from now, we are going to understand. We are going to understand some of the nuances that we may not know now. And it's just like all the chaos that happened in 2008, 2009, it ended, right? We don't ever go back and really, other than like today, but it's not like it's a major topic of discussion, right? And this too shall pass, the confusion and the lack of confidence. And the agents that don't learn the confidence on how to have these conversations will suffer. And the ones that do learn and grow those muscles and become confident of their value will be just fine.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think you were asking me what I would think of when I got lost.
Yep.
Sorry, our internet just completely went down in the entire office. That's always good. At least it's after hours. For me as a lender, can I speak from a lender's perspective?
Please. Yeah.
We are seeing the realtor freak out, or the realtors that are ready to just anything that they can do to really set themselves apart. They're out there, they're looking, and we are able to see who is taking initiative and who is working and who's ready to do this, which as a lender, I'm always looking for those agents. I'm looking for the agents. I want that mentality. It's not a block. It's what are we going to do and what are we going to learn from this? So I love that. And then with the flip side of that, the lenders that are out there that are truly giving ideas, trying to put our things that we can provide to try to help realtors overcome the obstacles and make this more of their daily norm and really set themselves apart. So those lenders that are out there that are doing that are getting recognition right now. And sometimes we don't get that recognition. So yeah, it is kind of nice that you're seeing the stars rise a little bit. I think we are. I think you mentioned that some of them are going to go to the wayside. And that's always the case, right? No matter what the obstacle, market ups, market downs, you have people that go away. Yep. But I think on top of that, you're going to see that cream rise to the top. And you're going to see the lenders that are really there supporting. And then on the flip side of that, she lost her internet too. It's just that day.
Well, hopefully we don't all do it at the same time. There we go, right?
But you're also seeing those lenders rise to the top. And it's, as a recruiter, I love seeing those lenders. I'm like, I want that lender. That lender is out there trying to make a difference and trying to see the I call it the sunset. I'm always chasing the sunset. Give me the beauty at the end of the storm. And I love seeing those lenders as a recruiter and probably as a real estate agent. guess that Karen would also say when she's out there looking for agents, the people that are being proactive,
Right.
I would are the ones that I'm wanting to look to recruit.
Right. Yes. It's okay to be scared, right? It's okay to say, oh my gosh, I have to change what I do. However, you roll up your sleeves and you're going to walk through the fear, right? And those are my clients that are like, yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm a 9. And I'm like, yay. However, not everybody, right? I can lead them to water.
You can freak out. You can do that. It's just the idea that we're going to find a path. It's the mentality of we're going to find it. Because if you can do that, then as a lender, I'm looking at other lenders. If they're able to see a path around it in a way to make this good, they're going to do the same thing with loans. So that's who I want.
And so this is a great plug and segue. Thank you, Charlotte, for this plug and segue. For what you do in marketing, right? You create a sense of community for your realtor clients.
Sure.
And right. So for realtors, be in community with like-minded, lenders, brokers that are helping you and supporting you. Friends don't let realtors do this alone, kind of thing, right?
No, that's absolutely right.
And so go ahead and give a plug for some of your stuff, your RE challenge, and go ahead and plug it, because I love it. But again, that's a sense of, hey, we're here to help, right?
Yeah, we are doing, so again, months ago, our company started getting together, like, what can we do to help support agents? What can we do? We work with buyers agents. That is my bread and butter, right? So what can we do to help the buyers agents? So we've been putting together a lot of different marketing materials and things like that for agents. But basically, we're like, we have been doing this a little bit for years. We don't get to sign contracts. We're constantly having to sell our value. That's something that we have to do that realtors had to do, but maybe not as quickly.
Right.
So we've put together a couple of things. One, I've got Recharging. It's RE as in real estate, RE-Charging with Champions, which is a podcast and a YouTube channel where it's just for marketing. So basically, if you need marketing ideas as a realtor around lending, I would get calls all the time from realtors. Hey, can you give me something that I can post on social media? Hey, can you give me a blurb for this weekend? So I'm like, you know what? I can do that every day. So let me just put something out there every day that realtors and other lenders can use for basically just for content, for whatever social media, whatever they're wanting to post that's relevant to the market right now. On top of that, we're doing our Breakfast of Champions. That's on August the 28th, I believe. It's a Wednesday. I'll have to put that date in the chat. But we are having a Breakfast of Champions where we are literally showing things that we are going to do to help buyers agents look better right up front, creating them landing pages that we already have kind of cookie cuttered, and they're going to be for themselves. I call them cherries on top. We can't make you an amazing agent, but I can put some whipped cream and cherry and make you look a little bit better with the technology that we already have. So we've put together this whole thing of how can we put the cherry on top for agents and make those buyers agents. If you're up against 2 decent agents, how can you look just this much better than the rest of them?
Yeah.
So things like that. And then on the September the 10th at 11 a.m. Central Time, you guys are all over the place, but 11 a.m. Central Time, we actually have our chief compliance officer who has been in all of these Mortgage Bankers Association meetings on the national level. She has been deeply involved in all the NAR conversations for over a year. She's going to jump on and just answer questions for agents that she knows, and she's got a legal team behind her that she can get answers to. So we're just trying to be the wealth of knowledge and the cherry on top for the agents.
Awesome. So do me a favor, in the private Facebook group that we have, would you post some of that, at least the RE challenge in there, please?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the question is, Charlotte was talking about some of the services she offers for her realtors, Karen, and a lot of that is community. And so I segued into, being in community right now with like-minded people, because yes, we might be a little bit fearful, and yes, our courage is maybe a little bit wobbly. So if we're in community and leaning in, right, that's going to help us get through it. And I know that's one of the biggest values you have in your brokerage. So do you want to say something about that?
I'll see if I can get through it. I had a coffee.
I know.
While I was off. So I would echo, kind of what Charlotte was talking about. We're not necessarily training other agents, but our own agents, just about how they can really stand out and not just that, because the agents that I work with in our brokerage are already very strong agents. It's more about how to articulate your value, right? And so that's what we're truly working on. And then beyond that too, how to, like we were talking about before, how to convey this sort of thing to other agents in the, the kind manner. And that's where it comes in for the brokerage possibilities of recruiting, because we're going to hopefully stand out. I think we will stand out as the difference from a lot of the other agents that we're working with.
Yeah, and I want agents to find you, like, via your newsletter or your social media posts, right? And Charlotte that way through her very creative social media posts. And so I'm going to plug one of my programs. I have a new program that's called Business Builders Q&A. And it's the fourth Friday of every month at 8 a.m. Pacific. It's for 1 hour and it's open to the public. It's Business Builders Q&A. Ask me anything. Just plop into Zoom, stay, don't stay. Ask me a question about business. And it's, yes, there's going to be a lot of real estate professionals that pop in, right? However, you don't have to be a real estate professional. You can be a financial planner or a roofer or a landscaper. But if you are a business owner, so Business Builders Q&A on Friday, it's the fourth Friday for 1 hour. Ask me anything, or come get to know me. I don't bite.
Well,
don't ask Karen and Charlotte. They might not agree.
Only when we're one-on-one. When we're a group, you're very, very good. And
okay, so I'm going to segue into this question. And it doesn't have to be from me, right? Because you guys get mentorship and coaching from other people, and it may have been from me. But what piece of coaching advice have you gotten that you would never forget?
I'll start. I've got two. One that's an old one that you and I worked through, I think, when I first started, and I've brought it up a couple of times, but it stays with me, and it's something that I literally refer back to regularly. And that's the knowing your core values is one thing, but building your life and your business and your goals around those core values takes absolute purpose. You can't just say these are your core values and not purposefully make things around that. So you taught me way back when how to find my core values first, truly, like
Yes.
who I really am, which is a wonderful self-discovery. And then and why people like me or don't. It's kind of nice to see that. But then really making that a part of my business, that's something that you continually do, is making sure that I am honoring at least a couple of my core values in the business things that I am doing. So that was number one. And that's ongoing. It's probably been 6-7 years since we started doing that. It's been a long time.
Yeah,
so that's
been a long time.
And then, of course, just the other day, I have to give the props, and there might be people that see this, they're like, hey, but I've been ghosted, and drives me crazy.
Oh, Karen, you're going to love this story.
I hate being ghosted probably more than anything. And not just being it's not the ghosting, it's the taking forever to respond, right? Especially, Karen, when we're recruiting. Oh my gosh. Very, very, very annoying. Or if I've got a lunch meeting or whatever, just the long delayed responses. So I had somebody and I was frustrated, and Tanya's like, I've got the solution. She's like, however you've been communicating with them, just send them a message and say, hey, where do we go from here? And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it right now. I'm like, I'm doing it right now as we're on this coach call. And like,
she did. It was just like
later, I get a message right back.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm like, dang it, Tanya, you were right. Okay, that works. Noting that down. Where do we go from here? And
yeah, hey, Eduardo, where do we go from here? And I'm like, I promise he will respond, and he did. Yeah,
absolutely.
I think it's so funny, human nature, right? A lot of us like being pursued, and even though you've already maybe captured me, don't stop pursuing me. And that line right there is an indication that I might stop pursuing you.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
That's it.
Right. You've used it, right, Karen? Where do we go from here? Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I wish I could tell you I was brilliant and came up with that. That's my coach teaching. Because yes, the same thing in my profession. I'm, giving a complimentary coach call. Someone says, I'll call you back tomorrow and let you know what I decide. And then they don't. Then my coach is like, just text them. Where do we go from here? And yeah.
It works.
Yeah,
Yep.
sometimes the we're not committed relationship is the relationship, right?
Right.
The
Yeah.
next step is now we're going to be committed.
Right.
Thank you, David, for the sense of humor. But yes. Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
You could also reverse that, David, and say, "Hey, boo, get it? Where do we go from here?" Heart ghost.
Right.
That's funny.
Hence that's why there's marketing in your title, Charlotte.
Right? Exactly.
So any piece of advice you have from anybody, Karen, that you would never forget?
Well, it's from you, so I'll never ever forget it. But when you taught us about we call it the dark side of our attributes, right? I thought that was huge, and I think about it a lot, right? And as you will say to us, are you in the dark side now, right? And it's not always. It actually isn't even always dark, and this is part of what I appreciate about the teachings of it. It's just not working for me. It's not healthy
It's not
for
serving you. Yeah.
serving me. Thank you. And like you say, it's not in alignment with then my moral character, my goals, and my mission. So that's been really big.
Yeah. And it's something I love. Maybe it's because it is something I'm very strong at, helping you guys find your superpowers.
Yes.
Right. And I know my superpowers, and I know both of your superpowers, but it's those superpowers because we're so good at it and we love it, even though we might not want to admit it out loud, but that's where we can go to the dark side. So for me, my competitiveness and my drive is a superpower. But when it goes into the dark side, I'm in the urgent care, right?
That's so true. And I was going to say, the more passionate you are about the attribute of your personality, right? The more I love having fun, which is my thing, I can totally go way off, and there I am, not doing the things that I need to because I'm so focused on this, or so fixated on making sure it is this rather than just letting go and keep. The more passionate you are about it, I feel like the easier the slip is to the dark side.
Well, and that's a way to put it. I'm going to put it that way on my next coach call with somebody, because we're so passionate about, like, I am very driven. I'm very competitive. I coach people, and I'm not picking on anybody on this call right now, but I coach people that are so phenomenal at giving. I wonder who I'm talking about. Look, who am I talking about? Right? Right. And it's that giving spirit that's a superpower. However, when we're giving to people who aren't ready for our help, or who don't deserve our help, who didn't ask for our help, right? And then we don't have time for ourselves because we're just out there giving. That's the dark side. And no, David, we don't want to embrace the dark.
Recognize and move
Recognize that we are slipping into the dark side. And and because yes, I was helping family, and I was overdoing it with working and marketing and taking care of a 3-year-old and 3 dogs and 2 cats, and I ended up in the urgent care. So that's my drive to help. And yes, I don't have that big help thing, but it is my drive to help everybody get to their goals, right? So I'm helping everybody in my family to succeed with what they need at the expense of my health, one day. So hence the extra water. Yeah. So what else is going on in your industry aside from NAR? There's got to be something else, some other fun story or event or something that's happened or that's happening around your industry. Can't just be NAR.
Yeah, no, lending wise, the affordability, NAR has been such a huge thing that the affordability piece of lending has kind of taken a back seat, but we're hearing more and more of ways that they are trying to help with affordability. First of all, great news. Interest rates are currently better than they have been in the last 10 months, right?
Nice.
That doesn't mean we're at 4s or 5s, but we were touching into the 7s, well into the 7s sometimes, and now we're back into the 6s again, 5s with some points, which is great, right? So that is helping the affordability. But then Freddie, which is one of the loan products, just a lot of times you can get these down payment assistance or low low down payment options, but you can't have a cosigner, which when it comes to affordability, we stink and need cosigners right now. I mean, that is just a very common thing. I'm going to be co-signing for my kids when it's time to buy a house because the affordability is not there otherwise. So co-signing is huge, and a lot of the low down payments. So if you get a cosigner, a lot of times you're limited to conventional, at least putting at least 5% down. So this is nice that Freddie's going to release a program that you can have a cosigner and they can still be on the loan for one of the low down payment, a 3% down product, which is great. It just gives a few more options. The more low down payment options we can give, the better. And then making those low down payment options actually attainable, because it's great to say you've got it. But if you can't allow for a cosigner, you can't, your debt ratio is too tight, USDA, your debt ratio is so strict that you can't use it. That's not really helping anything. So we're seeing movement to try to help for affordability, to try to help first-time home buyers be able to get houses.
That's great. That's awesome. I'm going to back up for a second. So David's correcting himself. Recognize darkness, limit, and pivot. Thank you for that clarity.
There you go.
That's true.
Yeah. So, and yes, and I say this, and I want you two to correct me because you're more boots on the ground than me. If the interest rate all of a sudden went to 5, I think we'd have a feeding frenzy, and I don't think sellers would be paying anything. Right? So maybe this is okay. Right now, I think it's good.
Keeping it there. Yeah, balancing it.
Yeah. We're just back to affordability. Excuse me.
Yeah. 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 So I don't know if Karen can hear or not, but I'm going to say, so for me in my industry, and as I talk to other coaches and we talk about what we're doing in preparing our business owners, I cannot believe that next month, and so Charlotte, you will get an invitation, is that we start planning the last quarter. And then we go into 2025. Because as you know me, October 1st, I say Happy New Year. And we are, right? So as Karen knows, right, October 1st, I say Happy New Year. And in September, I have a 2.5-hour workshop for my clients to prepare for that next 6 months, right, into 2025. I cannot believe I have to send you guys this invitation in the next week.
It's great. This year
is just crazy.
Yeah, it has flown by. It has. And I feel like it's interesting. I think that's because we have so many different things spinning right now that are causing, anxiety versus excitement, whatever that looks like. The business is still booming. So we have people that are still doing great business right now, along with all the other things. So I feel like it just makes the year just fly by. It's hard to believe. Yeah, we did our 6-month assessments, and it seems like yesterday. I'm like, holy crap, it's been 2 months since I did that.
I know. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm late in sending out the 2.5-hour workshop for my clients because we do it in mid-September. Right. And I want to give you guys 30 days notice. I'm like, oh my gosh, Tanya, it's now.
It is time. Yeah.
But it is also biologically known that as you get older, time goes by faster. So yeah, Charlotte, it happens to the best of us.
It's happening.
And then next year, you're going to be talking about being a grandma.
I know, right? How crazy is that?
It's like I used because I've been a grandma now for 3 years. So in that first year, I'm like, how did it happen? And people will say, what do you mean? How did it happen? Okay, I know how it happened.
Right. I get the how, but how?
How did
that time go so very quickly? It is, and I love this. We have on our TV, we've got Google Cloud or whatever sunk. I don't know that word. Anyway, syncing to the TV, and it does all of my favorite photos, which I love because I have photo albums on Google. I've been uploading there since probably 2007. So I've got lots of years of photos that pop up. I don't watch any TV, like zero TV, but I have my screensaver on all the time. And I will look and I'm like, I cannot believe that happened like 10 years ago. Like it truly feels like 2. There's this weird thing that happens when you get old that you look at it, you're like, old people would say that. I'm like, yeah, whatever. But holy crap, it's true. It's crazy.
It is true. Yeah, I know. Even my kids now will roll my eyes when I say, oh my God, how the time went by. But now that they're parents, my daughter has a 3-year-old and she's like, how did this happen?
So fast. It does.
I'm like,
I did listen to this podcast, maybe it was a podcast, I can't remember, where they were talking about how you can slow down time in your brain and make your life feel longer.
I heard it
And
too. Yes.
did you see that? And the trick was
Yes.
like making everything a big event. Like everything had to be new, and basically having big events or things that are milestone markers in your head makes your life feel longer. So I really liked that. I know you're shocked. What? I need to make everything fun? Yes.
Yes, and we need to, and we slow down to have the fun, right?
That's it. That's right.
It's like
That's
you
right.
and I and Karen, we're texting, right? And we're not understanding each other's text because we're not slowing down, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's right. We're just going fast through our day. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Shame
thought
on
that was
us.
great. Like, okay,
All right.
so
Well, Karen, no, go ahead.
I was just gonna wait. I just need to do something exciting every day. I think that's the goal. Do something exciting every day that's noteworthy.
Yeah.
A challenge.
I'm in. Here we go.
I know you are. You're an adventurer for sure.
Well, that free spirit is like, yay! Listen to Charlotte. Listen to Charlotte. All right, my friend. It is 4:40 in California. And I know Karen, so I'm very grateful. So thank you, Karen, if you come back and hear this, or if you're out there hearing this, thank you. Because I know she has a virus and she's coughing and all that kind of stuff. So
she was supposed to be here with me. I don't know if she told you that.
Yes.
We were going to surprise you.
I know she did. She told me today we were going to surprise you and both be together, but she's got a bug. So no, I'm glad you're not sitting in the same room. Yeah. Well, that's what happens because she's got a grandson, my granddaughter's age, 3, 4-ish, and they're little germ carriers. And if we aren't taking care of ourselves and taking care of our immune systems, we catch everything. And we have learned that lesson the hard way.
No doubt. No doubt.
Yep. Yep. All right. David, banners. If I'm misunderstanding your wish for banners, I did not create them today for Charlotte and myself, but I will next time. I promise. And if I'm missing the beat, because I can do that on what you mean by banners, I apologize. That just happens to be my day today.
Oh, me.
If it went over my head, everybody can just laugh and roll their eyes because whatever that it went over my head. It's okay. Charlotte, thank you. We will do this again next month, and it'll be interesting to see how everybody's adjusting to the changes. And I want to share some more stories next time because, yes, it's not the only thing that's happening in our world. We're going to celebrate some of the fun that we have to slow down time.
I love it. It sounds good.
All right. All right, everybody. Bye. Thank you.